Hey, good morning everybody. It's Eric Thomas from Thomas Hills Ranch, and it's a beautiful chilly morning, about 32 degrees this morning in the end of January. And I wanted to give you guys a goat update, goat rotation update. I know I haven't done that in a while. I posted some other videos, but been kind of busy. I have changed a couple of things about how I'm rotating. First thing I changed, I guess, was the fact that I'm giving them larger paddocks. Initially I was giving them pretty small paddocks, but that was in October. We still had a lot of green in the field. Once we started to get up the hill, up above our stock pond, we don't have a lot of great winter forage there that can be stockpiled. A lot of it is the Dallas grass, and I'm not sure of the nutritional capability of Dallas grass, but I don't think it's decent during the summer, I think, and then during the winter you lose all nutritional value. So they were digging pretty deep to get it, but down towards the water, or just above the water, there was an area, and I moved them over, and almost immediately one of my lead does, she decided I was not putting her in the right place. So she quickly hopped over the fence, soon to be followed by all but 3 of my goats. And so that was kind of a frustrating moment there. So I had to scramble to wrap them in wire again, and still with the 2-wire system. I haven't changed that. But again, just gave them a bigger area. They seem much happier. Really what they'll do when I first move them into the area, they'll kind of dart towards what they think looks good, and then they'll see one of their buddies off chewing on something else, and they'll say, "Oh, what's that?" And they'll all dart over there, and then they'll see another buddy. Anyway, once they've kind of searched out the whole field, then they'll just go in usually a counterclockwise circle the rest of the time. And so they just walk around it, not really pressuring the fences. At least I've been lucky thus far. It's been about 8 rotations. I think this is their 9th rotation since I've increased the size of the pasture. You can see them up there on the hill. They're just getting up this morning. This parcel that they're in, or this paddock that they're in, has some trees that they like to bed down in. It's also got a little dip there, which is north facing, and protects them a little bit from the cold. They do have a couple of their babies in there. We have had quite the high mortality rate. But that has to be expected with the system that I'm doing. I'm not providing them any shelter. I do provide them with protection with our 2 little fluffies there, and their lives have changed a little bit too. Initially I was putting Luna on a leash, the large blonde dog there, putting her on a long lead because she was harassing some of the goats, and that led to one of the escapes. So I put her on a long lead attached to her, sorry about the shaky camera, her feed. And then little Teddy there, a couple weeks later, I noticed one of the babies limping. And really what it was is he was playing too rough with them. He wasn't attacking them, and actually when they're born, it's kind of neat to watch him. He'll just sit in the grass, and he will sit between you and the new baby, and he'll kind of face you off, just staring at you. Won't pay attention to the new baby at all. But then, of course, I have to realize he's still a puppy, and so he does like to play like a puppy, and I guess goats aren't used to playing with things with sharp canine teeth. So anyway, I put him on a long lead too. They seem to be happy. Luna's not really... I don't know if she's warming up to me. She's not. I'll say she's not. She wags her tail when I come in. But when I try to get close to her to pet her, she'll have nothing to do with me. Not the case for my wife and 2 sons. She loves them to death, and she'll lick their hands and acts like they're the ones that feed her. So anyway, it must be me. So like I say, we have had a little, I won't even say a little, we've had a high mortality rate with the babies. We did have some cold and rainy weather, and without a shelter, some of them just didn't make it. Then we started getting some mamas who put off bigger babies, and I call them little monster babies, and man, they're up and running. I haven't even been able to catch them to tag them, so they're doing really well. The smaller ones do struggle more in this system. So I've identified a couple of does that I'm probably going to get rid of once we're at the back of the property here. The next rotation will be just over my middle fence, on the other side of my middle fence. In the foreground here, this is an area that's already been trampled up and used. And so then we'll start working them down towards my working pen, and that's when I'll sort not only the boys from the girls, but also some of the mamas that just are not thriving. They're surviving on my system, they're just not thriving on my system. And trying to walk away slowly. I can hear them bang at me. I don't want them to think I'm moving them. You can see, well, maybe you can see, there it is. See the 2-wire there? This is the old paddock that they were in. And really I just stretched the wire all the way across, and then I take wires to create the new paddocks. Same system up there. Probably cannot see, but I have I have 2 wires across, and you can see a white post there, and you can see where the paddock is stretched out. The difficult part of this, the farther I get away from the house and the farther I get away from the stock pond, because that's where I was getting my water initially. I'll try to wander over here so you can see it. Initially I was carrying water up in jugs and trying to, well, I guess trying to not use my truck, because I don't like driving on the pasture. I don't want to put a road through here. It is hilly, so I figure any road that I put in has the chance of causing erosion or drainage where I don't want drainage. And so yeah, you can see it's quite a ways, and I'm not even to the crest of the hill where our stock pond is down below. So hoofing 2 5-gallon jugs at a time up to the watering buckets. It's good that it wasn't the summer, and the goats do drink less in the winter, so it wasn't horribly bad, but I will have to figure out a new system for the summer. But I do plan on being down below in the summer, so now you can see the stock pond there. This last rotation we did, again, we're almost all the way at the back of the pasture, so there's no way I was gonna hoof water that far. And so I have a 55-gallon jug with a spigot on the bottom that I adjusted. Basically, I fill it up and truck it up and then pour it all out. So again, some ways we've had to adapt. And it's really because of my system. It's because of the way I'm running the goats, or what I don't want to do with them. I don't want to have goats that I have to baby. And so it's a really tough system to get used to, especially as you're carrying another goat out of the pasture lifeless. I did have one get sick the other day. I was hoping it was just an ear infection. She kind of had this continuous head tilt, not a twitch, but just a tilt, and which resembled one of the other goats that died. And I think it's either goat polio or listeriosis, which I think I'm saying right. So I got her out. I think I caught her real soon, but the success rate of actually getting rid of it is not real great. If she does happen to get rid of it and come out okay, she does have a baby on her, so I'm hoping that we can at least have her survive to raise the baby up. But if she does get through it, I'll sell her. I don't want a baby or a goat that is susceptible to listeriosis, because obviously it is on the property, or whatever causes goat polio, which I think is a vitamin B deficiency. I do give them vitamins. They're loose minerals, not vitamins, but loose minerals, and they do like them. They don't always go ape over them, but in some areas where there's worse pasture, you'll see they'll go through the minerals quicker. That's kind of how I judge how good the pasture is, especially during the dry season like this. You can see I'm just surrounded by a whole lot of brown grass. And also with the one thing I forgot to mention, with the bigger paddocks, I'm also rotating them less often. So now I'm at a 5 to 7 day rather than a 2 to 3 day rotation. It's nice on my schedule, but I don't know if I'll keep it that way. Really, my concern is the worms. I know worms will go from egg to worm in 7 to 21 days, so I don't want to break that 7-day max. But during the summer, you want to pay attention to your grasses, because your grasses will start to grow within 3 days, start to regenerate. And if those goats go back to those same grasses, they'll put the roots into shock, and you'll actually ruin your pasture, or you can ruin your pasture. And they'll really just, if they're eating the good stuff, then that's what they're getting rid of, that's what they're killing. So you have to be careful with that. So thanks again for watching, and God bless you all, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.